Hi, everyone. So I'm going to try to do this every week, but now that we are kind of finishing the first week of this course and starting the second, I thought I would just talk about what we're going to do this second week of the class. So, with basically what you've done in this first week is a little bit, definitely a bit reading heavy. Um, you don't have to, I guess I could have said this before for week one. Um, yeah, I'd like it if you read these chapters, but at a bare minimum, I'm really hoping you'll listen to the lecture, read the lecture slides, and you would have these chapters kind of at your disposal, and hopefully that you would even just read at least the preface and the introduction, because the whole point of week one is just to kind of set the stage for this idea, an incredibly important idea. At least it was for me when I first learned of it. Is again that notion of the paradigm, that notion of a perspective of looking at things. And we lose sight of that sometimes, even for a discipline like economics, because we get into this thought process that it has to be one way and that it is, well, economic science. That, as a science, there are immutable or, that there are strict rules for how things must be. And that's really truly not the case. Um, there are philosophical debates about how the economy exists, and what you would at least see in the week one readings is kind of the very beginning of modern economic thought with at least Adam Smith. Okay, so that then brings us to week two, which is now a bit more of what many of you probably expect when you think of a just an economics course, which would be, we've got a textbook, and you would have the reading that would be right here, right? So you could click on that, and there's your quote unquote free chapter reading. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And then you would have the lecture, me talking about it, and then the slides. I made some practice questions here. You can do them, and you'll get a point if you do them all. It's really minor. You don't have to do practice questions if you don't want to, but um, I wanted to give you some small incentive to do it. And then, so chapter one is kind of just an introduction to economics. Chapter two, what we do here is we look at a notion of economists starting to think about um, scarcity, and you get presented to you your very first economic model, that being the production possibilities frontier. So it's the model that economists use to understand the existence of scarcity. And so then after you complete those two chapters, you would then have your first analysis paper, which I would encourage you to do by the June 30th date so that you get the um, comments from me. But again, keep in mind, it's not going to strictly be due June 30th. It would be strictly due July 9th, because July 9th would be when all of the material from week two is due, as well as the material from week three is due. And week three is probably the more difficult part because it is the um, supply and demand material. Okay.